When the rivers burst their banks, it is not a drainage problem. It's not drainage, because it's not Madare River, there's no drainage, it's the river. The river has gone back to its original level. Now people had gotten properties in the river. Now they have been moved away by the rains. And we're saying we will not allow you to go back. Today I can sit with my senator and MPs and we sat. Of course there's some, of course, who will do politics as usual. And politics is okay. But because it should not be dependent on my relationship with the senator. I was a senator before. I only entered City Hall once as a senator because I couldn't relate with the governor then. It shouldn't be subjective. I've agreed with my MPs, we're doing a retreat with the MPs and senators and leaders of the assembly to agree, okay, this is what CDF is doing here. Why are we doing the same route? Let me put instead money in this other place, you know? Or this is what we're doing in our schools. You can help us in doing, you know?
I can confess to you that last week, when your senator came to the floor of the House, he was really excited that you are actually called everybody and you are engaging with all your leadership in Nairobi. And for me, that is how it should go. The last point I want to raise, I don't know how you would handle this, neither do I have a way. You've said so much that makes sense, but nobody in Nairobi knows that.
These guys don't cover me.
Figure out a way. I think you need to figure out a way on how you can periodically explain it. I remember when you started the principle of the boroughs.
Yeah.
The borough system is an American creation. I believe, and I know you will agree with me, and I heard you say it once, I think it was 2 years ago, Nairobi is too big to be let to fail. So we must come up with interventions where you do not destabilize the county government system, but create a scenario and a management structure where intelligent, clever, well-trained individuals can run these boroughs with the leadership of the governor, and I believe Nairobi will change.
I was just wondering, of the neighboring counties, you know, because you have Machakos, Kiambu, Kajiado, and I think Murang'a, do you have structures or systems that allow you people to work together to address common challenges and also to address shared services? Yeah, you know, you have mentioned about the Kitengela water to EPZ. I know such services. Maybe you can enlighten us if there is a smooth way that those counties are working, particularly those in the metropolitan area. And then finally, has the NMS transferred back county functions to Nairobi County? Has NMS wrapped up whatever they were doing and allow you to do your work?
NMS, how are they going to pay the 17 billion to the county of Nairobi so that you can clear those bills, so that you get the handing over also process to run smoothly? Governor, you know, you talked about the issue of emergency disaster bill. I saw your bill, I took that one up, and unfortunately, like you said, it is with the government, it is with the Mr. Ichungo himself, and I had a discussion with our majority leader, and I asked him, why didn't you give us these documents? I have the documents now with me. If they can give it to us so that we can run with it very fast and then send it to the National Assembly. But he said he's going to discuss this matter with Ichungo, and now we've already taken almost 2 months now.
Yeah.
So the same problem you faced, we are facing the same problem. I took this matter because of Marsabit issues.
The issue of the municipal financing and borrowing money is the limitations in the law. Number one, 12th chapter of the Constitution requires a guarantee from national government. That guarantee has never been given. It will not be given. Yet those who even the national government is borrowing from would rather give the county. They would rather give, because a county is more nimble, it is faster, you can see impact and return. If we put money, for instance, in our metro system, people will pay busway. You'll be able to recoup it in 15 years or in 20 years. If you put money and I'm glad at least we've been able to do the waste to energy by PPP. And we've contracted China National Electric Engineering Company. They should be breaking ground once we finish with the negotiations on the contract. 45 megawatt plant, they will run it over a number of years, put that 45 megawatts into the national grid, and get their money paid for by Kengen or by Kenya Power. I mean, Kengen would be the uptaker. Kenya Power just distributes the power. If you ask us to put in that money today, we can't. The waste to energy plant, for instance, is 50 billion. I don't have 50 billion. So the creative financing says, since I know for sure, there's no day the Senate will review money to counties below what already we have. If I know for 10 years, we'll get 20 billion, let's say when I connect zero, there'll be 20 billion every year for 10 years or 20 years. You can actually discount a portion of that and receive it today in lump sum, and then pay slowly. So that is why you do the municipal bond. Because the kind of infrastructural support we need, for instance, the drainage, people say we need to improve. To increase the drainage in Nairobi County, for rain that comes maybe once a year, costs around 25 billion shillings. So you put 25 billion only on drainage, I will not pay a single salary. I'd rather do small improvements. But to do the massive infrastructure that the city needs, you need to get money upfront. We are talking to transaction advisors, but you will need to help us with the law. PFM has restrictions, county government has restrictions. Urban Areas and Cities Act can create exceptions that allow the city to engage in certain ways of raising municipal financing. My friend, I have a friend who's the mayor of Cape Town. And the mayor of Cape Town has shown me how he's been able to do it over time, to get money that they would never get. Otherwise, the governor of Nairobi becomes just a cashier. All I do is pay salaries, collect garbage today, and do this. But to leap forward, to transform the city, the kind of infrastructural investment you need at a go, this normal way of financing will not change anything. You'll not do anything meaningful or transformational. Number two, so that's on borrowing money. Like EPA did, they got a very small portion because there's a limitation on the percentage, and then it must be guaranteed by a national government. We have people who are willing. For instance, I met a company and we're talking to them who are saying, look, Nairobi County, we have streetlights, 68,000 streetlights. Yeah, I've been increasing them, but bit by bit. They want to come put more than 100,000 solar streetlights. And all I need to do is to pay them as if I'm paying up the power bill for a number of years, and then the lights become mine. Why would I be stopped from doing that? I light the entire city. When you light the city, the economy improves. People will be out longer. People will do business 24 hours, So Senate should support us to do such things. Number two, Chairman, you've also asked about the boroughs in terms of the wards. So what we envision is the sub-counties and the wards within a certain area will fit into a borough. The borough is purely administrative, so it'll have a manager. The manager will be appointed by the governor, because I've been given the mandate to lead the whole county, so I'm just stepping down administratively. So for instance, we have 5 sub-county administrators. In the meantime, one of them can act as a borough manager to coordinate the needs of these 5 sub-counties. I have 17 sub-counties. Now, what we will do within our law is to provide for budget making, a percentage of it. When I was in Senate, we visited a place called Lowell in the US, where they were doing something called participatory budget making. They had gone to the estates. You have people who come together and they say, okay, from the county's budget or from the state's budget, we've been given $10 million. What do you want? When you involve the people in making that decision and they see it, then they believe in that devolution better. So it's an administrative structure, not political. The Urban Areas and Cities Act provides for city managers. The only county that's done that is Kisumu. And Kisumu has a city manager who's employed by Professor Nyong'o. For us, we said that structure doesn't work for us having one person. We want to have the 5 borough managers, the 6 borough managers as city managers, and they will report to my deputy governor, to coordinate all of them. So also your deputy governors are not idle. You've seen many counties with issues between governors and deputy. wanasoma tu gazeti na kula mandazi. Mine is very busy, is in charge of markets and now the barrow system. Number two, so even the transport system, we have 5 lines of BRT that we're doing. It was stuck. Namata was created, it never moved. I realized in the public notice for Namata, the vice chair of the council is the governor of Nairobi. And so I went to the chair of the council, the minister, and we've revived it. We've had new board members appointed to Namata because rail is seen as a national function in the 4th schedule. So since it's a national function, we can't invest in rail, but Namata, as a body between national and county, can do it. And so that's why we're doing the rail system, the BRT system together with Namata. There are 5 lines. There's Chui, Kifaru, Simba. So the different lines, one is from Thika to Matarungai. There's one that straddles across Mombasa Road through all the way to Kangemi and beyond. There's another one from Juja, that is line 3, that is being financed by the European Investment Bank together with the French Development Agency, coming through Dandora all the way. They all pass through the city center. At the railway terminal where we're doing the railway city, there's going to be a huge BRT terminus there as well. That thing is actually moving. People don't know. I think Senator Nyonka is right. I need to communicate more. And so there's line 4 and then line 5. So I was given an example of the 74 million euros for line 3, which has been stuck from even before I became governor. I'm the one who had to push the president. Both these guys have come to me. They want a cabinet memo to refresh it. It's taken a year. You know, to 74 million. The European Investment Bank tells me this money is sitting. It is for Nairobi. Now, if it was to me to receive it directly, I would have, we'll be done with line 3 and line 4. You know, so we just have to, because also national government is dealing with many things, 47 counties, international issues, military, you know, so pushing your agenda is a bit hard. Senator Chute, thank you so much for your kind words. And it's true, it's worked out. Nairobi, sometimes we become victims of politics. And people never see what is being done because it's a coveted position. Possibly after the presidency, the next elective position that is as coveted, I don't know which one it will be, but possibly Nairobi. And so everyone and their mother have a story about the city. But you see, what I've decided to do, Chair, is to focus on the work. And that's why you've never had me answering politically anyone. I've just stayed focused. I see the results. And as a leader, you should never be afraid to be misunderstood. If you keep doing the right thing and you focus on it, they'll understand later. They will start seeing the fruits of it. They'll see the increased revenue. They'll see the roads being done. They'll see healthcare. Today, I don't know when the last time you got a case of Mama Lucy. When I was in Senate, there was always a case of Mama Lucy in the hospitals. I changed all the boards in the hospitals and introduced a new leadership system of CEOs. So my level 4s have a CEO. Because a medical superintendent is a doctor. They know medical issues. But who is thinking of customer service, cleanliness, infrastructure, supply chain, availability of medicine, human HMIS in technology? You need a CEO. And the transformation I've seen in 6 months by just having CEOs in Mutwini, Mbagathi, Pumwani, and Mama Lucy is transformational. But of course, you'll not hear that story. The story you'll hear is the politics. Yes, we found the pending bills, 16 billion. NMS, and I think I'll join this with Senator Tobiko. So NMS ended as an entity. It ended when the election was held and the transition period was supposed to be up till November. But because of the pending bills, you see, NMS was a national government entity under the executive office of the president. So they still have to sort out those bills. I said those bills will not be paid by Nairobi County. They'll be paid by the executive office of the president. Because those are national government bills. The ones who entered into those contracts, we don't have those contracts. But we asked them to fast track them and do what we call a deed of novation to give us what we can continue with those projects. Because the projects are for the people of Nairobi. So unfortunately, we've got some things stuck because it is stuck at that level. And the full and final handover of documents has not been done because of the pending bills. They must clear those bills. And which is why, you know, it is very easy to dazzle people over a short period of time quickly and then not pay. But people have seen things and say, oh, this is wonderful, this is how we should run Nairobi. Nairobi would never run. And because when people say national government, it's not that there are angels there and devils in counties. If you look at my engineering department, Possibly, in fact, a meeting last week, the national government confessed you have to possibly have more engineers than the national government. In the recent past, I've hired another 100 artisans and engineers. Many of them are the ones who set up the structures there. So counties have capacity. They just need to be able to be allowed to find the resources they require. And so we hope that they can. They must clear those. I found 100 billion pending. I set up a task force to look at the legal bills. It was headed by Kamodo Waiganjo. Unfortunately, during the work of the task force, the High Court in Trans Nzoia outlawed these task forces that look at pending bills, saying we are usurping the role of the Auditor General, which is not true. These task forces help us make administrative decisions. I'll give you an example. From 21 billion owed to these lawyers, already they are narrowed down to 11 billion. They had reduced those bills, that you can actually pay 11. And we are even going to go lower. They put proposals of how to structure the office of the county attorney. Instead of paying these lawyers huge amounts, one lawyer is usually $1 billion, 500 million, put them on service contracts to serve the county and get a retainer of a certain amount. You will never hear these lawyers charging a private entity like Safaricom $1 billion shillings. They would never. They would never go charge EABL $1 billion or 500 million. Never. Because no private entity would pay. But they think that you can fleece national institutions and county governments. I refuse that, and I will not do that. Yes, we're feeding at 5 shillings. As I explained, I put in 1.7 billion as a county towards that program. 700 or so was to the infrastructure. 1.2 is to the subsidy of the food. It is a county function. I don't know why people say it is not a county function. It's a county function. Children welfare programs are a county function. It's just that I'm happening to feed the children in a school. I'd fed them at home. It is easier to do it at school because they come there. It's the same way, and these things you can never divide. Devolution is not a competition. In these schools, we provide water. Are we taking a national function? But the water is from the county. Because it's a county function, In those schools, we have to support the infrastructure of SEWA. Are we taking the function of national government? No. But counties must provide those functions. It's just that what we don't do in those schools is teach the children. Teaching is what is the national function. Education, teaching, curriculum development, and executing that. But the welfare of those children, they're our children, and the law says it. If you look at the Children's Act, it says, must be section 12 or so of the Children's Act, talks about children welfare programs that every county shall set up to look at the interest of these children. Now, in the same school, you find, Senator Tobiko, the ECD and the primary school are in the same place. So who owns the place? Does it then go to national or county? So as we look at the real ownership of that facility, so those ones which have been done by CDF, like Komarok, etc., we come in and add an ECD, but the school is a national government school. But our schools that we built as Nairobi City County or as the City Council remain to be ours, by the function of teaching and paying salaries and curriculum, that one is the national government. Yes, we knew there's going to be rains. That is why we prepared from the time of El Nino. That is why we got the Green Army as well. We started that process from before. And that is why everywhere you go in the city, you will see them clearing the drainage. That is why we invested in equipment. We've invested in machinery. I have new 24 skips, 50 skips and 10 skip loaders, 24 tippers we added in the county. I have 24 refuse compactors in the high seas coming, the one that compress garbage. That is why we sat with CBOs and told them stop dumping in these areas because it will go and block drainage. Now the problem, and that's why during El Nino it didn't flood in the city. But now this heavy rain has burst the banks of the rivers. When the rivers burst their banks, it is not a drainage problem. It's not drainage, because it's not Madare River, there's no drainage, it's the river. The river has gone back to its original level. Now people had gotten properties in the river. Now they have been moved away by the rains. And we're saying we will not allow you to go back. We've said we will not allow them to go back to those areas, I have my engineers together with Warma and NEMA right now at Nairobi Dam. They're looking at the structural integrity. We might need to evacuate SIFA apartments. Because if that breaks its bank, it will be worse than what happened in Mai Mahiu because of the sheer numbers. You find people saying, oh, I feel I'm safe, I don't want to move. A time comes and government says, no, we will tell you whether you move or not. We will take care of your life. That is why when you commit suicide, it's a crime. It's your life, yes. But your life belongs to the government. If you try to take your life away, the government comes in. And so the areas we said we'll evacuate, we're evacuating people, we're moving them out of those places, and we've agreed that they shall not go back. We had early warnings. We told people to move. People refused to move in many of these areas. We had put notices. I heard people saying, oh, it's flooding because of development. No, there's no flooding in Kileleshwa, where people are saying their apartments. There's no flooding there, or in Lavington. In fact, the flooding in Kilimani is in an estate called Elite Gardens and Orchard View. The estate was built in the 90s. And you go there, they say, no, it's okay. In the 90s, it flooded. In El Nino 99, it flooded again. In 2014, it flooded. So they're in Kirichwa River. They're in the river Kirichwa. And it was built in the 80s. So you can't say that our development control has led to flooding. Well, in those areas, there is no flooding at all. It's just the Arboretum Junction because of a blockage, which we cleared, and it went. So that can never be the reason why there was flooding there. And so that is why also Tobiko, we sat down with the DCCs, the national government administrators, and agreed to form these response units. And my proposal that I'll bring to the Senate will help us now create such administrative structures. But then it is not relational, you know, because today I can sit with my senator and MPs, and we sat. Of course, there's some, of course, who will do politics as usual, and politics is okay. But because it should not be dependent on my relationship with the senator. I was a senator before. I only entered City Hall once as a senator because I couldn't relate with the governor then. It shouldn't be subjective. I've agreed with my MPs, we're doing a retreat with the MPs and senators and leaders of the assembly to agree, okay, this is what CDF is doing here. Why are we doing the same route? Let me put instead money in this other place, you know? Or this is what we're doing in our schools. You can help us in doing, you know? Having an ego that if you're a governor and one should question you is not what devolution is supposed to be about. The reason this thing was thrown out was because when Senator Sang brought it as a senator, he wanted the senators to chair. Then he became a governor. And he could not imagine Cherargei chairing. The same thing. For me, it doesn't matter, you know? So long as we can sit around one table, agree on development, agree on issues of human. Like today, the reason there is goodwill for people not to go back to those rivers. I sat with all the MPs of those areas and the Senate, and we agreed in Madare, in Ruaraka, in Mukuru, let us not allow people to go back. We can deal with the structure owners, but the tenants, if we give them a disbursement, they will find another place to stay. But let's not create also IDP camps or refugee camps in the city. I think that is, neighboring counties, we've not found a framework within the law to work together because all these counties have gone to regional blocks. So every county is in a regional block that is almost a tribal block sometimes. And Nairobi has been left alone. So the Murang'a and the rest are in Mount Kenya regional block. When I look at Kajiado, they are with the Narok. But I have more similarity with Kajiado than Narok has. I have more similarity with Machakos than Kitui, but they have gone and formed the Ukambani block. So everyone has gone to their to their people, to tribal cocoons. Nairobi metropolitan area actually should be our planning framework for this city. As we're able to sit with the Kajiado, Murang'a, and so the only place we meet maybe is at Namata board, but we don't have that framework. I would want us to set it up within the law. So everyone has gone to their tribesmates or to the areas. It shouldn't be the case. Yes, all the functions are transferred back. Nairobi runs all its functions, including, and this is a win for devolution. If you look at health, Mama Margaret Uhuru Hospital. This is a hospital that started being built in 1989 in Kariobangi North. Actually, it's the border of Kariobangi North and Korokosho. There were many failed attempts. It was called Nyai Wards at that time. They tried. Governor Kidero came and tried, didn't succeed. So during NMS time is when it was finally concluded. But now the national government had taken it away. It's a 400-bed capacity hospital. Twice Mama Lucy. If you go to Mama Lucy, you'd find sometimes women are sharing beds because of capacity. They made it a special pediatric hospital. The catchment area around it is more than 2 million people who can't even go there if they have a flu. I put up a very strong fight. I told the president, this hospital must be a general level 5 public hospital for the people of Embakasi North, for the people of Ruaraka, for the people around there to use. And finally, they handed it over. So it's back to us. I have appointed the current CEO of Mama Lucy is also acting CEO there. I'm going to appoint a new board. We've agreed on the commodities there, the equipment that is needed, and that also will reduce pressure completely from Mama Lucy Hospital. That for me is a great victory for devolution, and I'm very happy that the president understood it. Because when we were launching the Rivers Commission, I told him, please come and see. And it's a huge facility. There were less than 20 people. And he said, how? Because it's a very specialized, it's a level, it had been made to be a level 7 even, I think, or level 6. I said no. So I think that is that. I think all in all, Chair, to conclude, as the Senator Onyonka said, that I said before, Nairobi is too big to be let to fail. If Nairobi works, Kenya works. And having, Shakespeare says in the Hamlet, that truly wise is he who learns from another's mishap. I have seen what the first governor had to deal with, what they went through. I have seen what the second governor had to deal with, what they went through. I've understood the challenge that NMS had. I've been a legislator, I've been the senator. I think if we support us, we truly can make Nairobi work. And so I'll be coming back more and more times to you as the Senate with specific asks on how we can build. And I'm glad that you stick to the facts of the issue, not to be swayed by propaganda and politics. That will always be there. But on the issues that can be empirically justified, you can see the numbers, you can see the reports. That is where we make decisions from. Thank you so much, Chair, for your time.